Hey, welcome, entrepreneurial agent listeners. Today, I have the special honor and privilege of inviting Jeremy Allen of the Jeremy Allen Home Team, part of the real estate group here in the Tidewater or Hampton Roads, Virginia area. Top 2% real estate agent with a phenomenal business and just on the way up in a way. So, Jeremy, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Absolutely. So, let's just start this off in a fun way and ask why real estate?
Good question. I think I just have always had the ability to interact with people and build relationships, and I think real estate really fits well with my personality. I think it's what I want to do when I grow up. I'm pretty sure this is it.
Well, was this your first career?
No, before real estate, I was a territory manager working for a restaurant and bar distribution company. Kind of ran a merchandising program, and I consider that as more of a job and a great learning opportunity to get me where I'm at now. Where I'm at now, I feel like I have a career. So,
Okay. So what's different about the 2?
in real estate, it is being a realtor, we really are entrepreneurs. We really are business owners. I file my taxes as any other business owner would. So yeah, there's freedom that comes with that. And with that also comes great responsibility.
Yes. Yeah, that's that freedom word is kind of thrown around a lot, and I know it's a very attractive sort of reason to business for yourself and entrepreneurship, right?
Right, right.
It was one of my driving core values as well. But I imagine that you know the difference from, the typical realtor who gets in, you're gonna sign up and not really do much, right? But make a ton of money free
Right,
versus building a business like you've done and you're currently doing to
right.
be successful.
Right, there's a lot of different ways to build a successful business, but to me, what a successful business looks like isn't just one that makes a lot of money, but one that I really love, one that's congruent to me and what my personality type and my goals. And in real estate, there's different lanes you can go in, to be successful.
Man, that's awesome. I think that's a critical point. I mean, how many people are like in a job or a career or a business or something that they just
Right? It's probably not too uncommon. I can't relate to that at this point in my life because I love what what I'm doing. But yeah, when I talk to people that complain about their jobs and they don't like it, it's like, oh man, that sucks. Yeah.
well, I just some statistic I read a while back that said like 70% of the people that go to college and study something career are going to end up even in that field, right?
Right. Right. I know a lot of agents that have, high degrees and they're not using that.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And you said mentioned different lanes in real estate and so forth. So talk a little about the lane that you're in, maybe versus some of the other lanes out there.
Sure. Listening back to when you interviewed Olivia Lauren, she said it very well. There's really a couple different types of agents. There's agents that are more transactional, that are constantly chasing more transactions, that are chasing the business, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think especially as a new agent, you have to do that. But as you build it, my goal has always been, and where I'm at right now is I'm at a place where my focus and my attention is on serving people at the highest level possible. I want to serve people so well. I want to go above and beyond. I want to wow them in any experience that I can add to that. When I'm working with a seller or a buyer, it's not just about getting the results. It's about giving them the best possible experience because that generates referrals, that generates trust, that generates more business, and the type of business that it generates is the type that I love.
So you're all about serving and
Yes.
really digging in, getting to know your clients' needs and desires,
Yeah. Yeah. I want to go.
delivering on that experience, right? Because real estate's a little bit of an intangible.
Right. Yeah, I look for opportunities to do an unexpected extra for somebody. Real estate is kind of, it can be an emotional process for some of our clients too. So the value that we add, I mean, the value that I'm adding, it's undisputed. there's no AI technology that can replace us. It's not really possible because it's such an emotional transaction. There's too much to it. People want that human interaction. They want someone they can look to as a leader that's going to be looking out for their best interest. And when people can tell that you care more about them than you do getting a commission check, that's when everything changes. That's when you build that trust. And then when you build that trust, it makes the experience better for that client, better for me, and it also generates more referrals as well.
So trust as a way of life is also a great business strategy.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Every area in life, the way I operate my business is no different than the way I operate my life too. I serve in all areas of life. I'm also a Christian. I believe a career with Jesus is better than a career without Jesus. And I serve at my church.
Agree.
I go to the gym, and if someone needs a, I'm going to help them. I'm going to help them lift that weight. I'm going to serve anybody, anywhere I'm at. And in real estate, it's no difference. The service that we provide is so valuable though. I mean, and I'm honored that I get to be part of that experience with people.
That's so true. And it's no doubt why you're doing so well in real estate. I think buying a house, selling a house is is a very stressful process, right?
Can
An
be.
experience in terms of generally people are buying or selling because they've got a life change.
Hmm.
They've got a growing family. They're
Right.
moving, relocating, downsizing. Oh,
Right.
who knows?
Divorcing, death in the
Yeah,
family. There's a lot of different emotional reasons that come along with moving. And there's a lot of emotional attachment that comes with their home, especially for a seller that's letting go of their home. And the emotional attachment is because they raised their family in this home. It's because, they measured their son as he grew up against that door right there. They measured each mark as he got older every year. And all that emotion is tied up into their home. And that can come out when it comes time to sell it. That emotion comes out, and our job is to be that cushion and to be that perspective for them to help keep them on the right track, to maximize their investment when they sell, not act out of emotion, to maximize the return on their investment. But also my job is to give them an experience that if I mean, some people are high stress and I can't take away all the stress. I don't have a magic wand, but I can certainly remove most of it just by knowing that you have somebody competent that cares for you, looking out for you, and that cares about you, not just during the transaction, but after the transaction. I build relationships with people, and it doesn't end once we close. It goes on way beyond that.
and you built most of your business around referral and repeat business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Last year, I sold just under $15 million of real estate. And almost all of that was either a repeat client that came back to me with loyalty or someone that was referred to me. There's not very much business that I'm working anymore these days that are, anything but that.
Oh, that's fantastic, and that's a testimony right there to your living an authentic life integrated with your business. I mean, it's one thing. I, I talk to entrepreneurs, business owners from all over. It's so many of us try to like create a business and then sort of build our life around it, which is the wrong approach,
Mm. Yeah.
right?
Right.
We should build our life, and a business should be a part of that life. It should fit in, right? And
Yes.
integrate
Yes.
like what it sounds like you're doing.
Absolutely. That's actually a really really good perspective of it. My personal life and my job, they kind of run together. They really do.
So work is not really work to you, is it?
Not really. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are certain tasks, there are certain things, there are certain
Yeah.
times where I don't feel like, driving over here, sure. But overall, no, I love serving people. I love the gratitude that comes from it. Gratitude is highly contagious. And I love to spread it and I love to receive it. It's an amazing thing.
Talking about trust and service and experience. And we live in a world today where people are starved for that.
Right.
I mean, everything is instantaneous gratification. You mentioned AI. It's like you go to it was a McDonald's. I never go there, but I walked in there one day recently for a cup of coffee, and there's a kiosk. I couldn't even just like order from somebody.
Mm-mm.
And it's it's just so impersonal today. I think we've gotten that way, and so people really, I imagine when they work with you, they really just kinda, I mean, they just love that.
Yeah, I would like to think so. And I try to do certain things intentionally so that way there is personal touch to it. Like, I may not want to send a text message to my client. Instead, I might do a voice memo or I might do a video so they can see my face, they can hear my words as I explain to them what they need to, I can do to make sure that they feel cared for and it matters the most to me.
That's awesome. It's awesome. So tell us, what are you seeing in the market? I mean, you've been 8 years. So obviously the last couple have been a little crazy.
A little different the last few years. Yeah.
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 But what's going on now?
Well, I feel like right now we're kind of in a weird place where it's shifting more towards back to more towards a normal market. I started in 2014 and back then, for a house to sell in 30 days, that was awesome. I saw an old Facebook post that popped up, Paul, and it said that I was bragging about this house I sold in less than 30 days. And it's like that was funny because back then that was something that was special. Nowadays, it's like, what's wrong with it? Why did it take 30 days? Well, we're kind of shifting back to more of a normal market. Last time I looked, I think we said we had 1.8 months of inventory on the shelf. So it's getting more fair for a buyer now. Now, I say that I know that interest rates are high. That doesn't seem fair, but you know what? There's another side to that. With that with that high interest rate, you're not going to have the same competition you had last year. I had a first-time home buyer last year that had to pay $12,000 over the appraisal value. He also had to pay his own closing costs, which is about 8 grand. So that was $20,000 that came out of his pocket before I even handed him the keys, right? So now that same buyer right now is going to keep that 20,000 in their account, and I'm going to hand them their keys. Now their monthly payment though is going to probably be like $600 a month higher. But they didn't have to write 7 offers on 7 different properties before they finally got one accepted, and they didn't have to waive their home inspection. They didn't have to, pay cash over the appraisal. Instead, they got the house they wanted. And now, let's just wait maybe a year, maybe 2 years from now, they can refinance and now they have their cake and they get to eat it too. So I think it's a beautiful thing right now for a buyer.
You know, I think the same. I mean, I you talk about rates are high. So I'm in finance. I remember in 1998 when I did my first loan on the residential side, I think we were at 8%. And I think at the historical sort of average is around 7
Mhm.
over the last 50 years.
Mhm.
So, 2.5 to 3% is a little unusual.
Very much so. And buyers would like to think they want it to go back down that low, but just know like a 2% interest rate was not free. That comes with a cost. That
Yeah.
comes with the supply and demand cost of the market blowing up again and the prices
Mhm.
exploding and hard to get an offer accepted.
Yeah. Once boiled down the wisdom of the ages from like a whole library into one sentence. I think it's in the Bible somewhere. It says, there's no free lunch.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So if one's low, something's going to, if the
Yeah.
market's always going to do this. There's never a perfect time, right?
It's never a perfect market. Every time the market shifts, though, it creates new opportunity. We just have to
Right.
look and see what does that opportunity now look like? How can we tap into that?
Well, I bet you had first time home buyers in the last 2 years that couldn't get into a home
Correct.
because they didn't have all that extra cash laying around, right?
Yep. Yep. And now's the time for those buyers that if as long as they can, still qualify on a mortgage with this higher rate, now's their time where they can get in. They might even be able to get all their closing costs paid for by the seller.
Yeah. Wow, what a great opportunity, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
That's big time. Well, and then there's still a supply issue, right? So
Right.
over the long run, that home they get in today with the seller paying costs is going to be worth, you know, maybe not going to go up 20 and 30% a year like we have, but even 3, 4, 5%,
Right.
man, that adds up fast.
Oh yeah. Much better option than renting.
Oh, absolutely. Well, the cost of rent is going way up too.
Way up. Yeah, the cost of rent is crazy right now.
Yeah. So you got to live somewhere. You might as well get with Jeremy and get in your house.
That's right.
And because if you buy let's just say $300,000 house. If you appreciate it 4% a year, that's 12,000 of free money. That's just compounding year after year after year.
Right, right. And you're paying towards something that you own.
You own it.
Yeah.
You can put your dog, you can get 3 large dogs.
Right. Right. You could build a fence, you could tear down a fence, you can do whatever you want to that house. I mean,
That's right.
unless if you're in an association, you might be some guidelines.
Yes, read your guidelines
Read your
before you
gu
sign on the dotted line, right?
Right, right. Yeah.
And as a great agent, you're gonna let your buyers know what they're walking into, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just had one just actually, I'm hopefully closing on it tomorrow with a condo and discovered as I read through the minutes, I discovered in those condo docs that in the next year sometime, they're implementing an assessment cost for roof replacements. So it's not even due yet, but that's about $2,000 each homeowner is gonna have to pay. By discovering that, I was able to negotiate in the seller to pay that for my buyer,
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
which was awesome, and
And then, we don't read contracts anymore. Everything is a DocuSign, right? It's all electronic.
right,
Scroll through the 12th page and hit the button if you agree.
right.
So, I mean, you said it earlier, the fact that you're representing your buyers and your sellers,
Yeah,
you're looking out for those the minds in the field
right,
that they don't even know exist, right?
right. That's a good way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's different things out there that can happen that they're not aware of because they're not selling their houses every day. They're not buying houses every day. So that's some of the undisputed value as agents that we offer because I do sell houses every day. So I've probably any problem we come across, I've probably come across it before, and if I haven't, I know somebody that has, and we'll figure it out.
So, helping the community here a little bit, what would you, as a successful top producing real estate agent, building a team
Yeah.
with some water over the dam now,
Yep.
what would be 2 or 3 bits of advice you can get to somebody that maybe started in the last year or 2,
Mm,
and they didn't really know what sort of reality was?
right. Right. The advice that I would give to anybody is to have a heart to serve. Provide a service, the rewards will come. Every time the rewards come, that you're gonna get rewarded. But provide a service and keep that at the top of your mind and in your heart, just to provide a service to this person. And if you focus on that, I think you're gonna be all right.
Be other people's focused.
Be other people focused. Be someone that people can trust. And I think NAR data has clearly indicated year after year. I don't think this will ever change. The number one reason why somebody hires an agent, it's not because of how many homes they've sold. It's not because they drive a nice Tesla. No, it's because they feel like they can trust that person. And trust is so important in this business. And I think that applies to all businesses.
How do you how do you build and sustain trust with someone, let's say a client you've never met before?
Mm, mm, that's a good question. So, most of the clients that I've never met before have been referred to me from somebody that has probably worked with me 3 or 4 times and that raved about me enough, whatever they said about me, that the likelihood of me having to build that trust with people in front of me, it's very low in most cases. But now let's just say if it's somebody that's never met me, they don't know me from anyone. Okay. And I don't want to sound cliche, but I just be myself. I just be myself, and they can tell that I care about them. And I bring energy too. I bring a lot of energy. I try to make it fun. I try to make them laugh. When people laugh at my jokes, I know they like me. So, I really just want to build a
Are you
relationship with
saying your jokes are bad?
well, I don't sometimes maybe, but I just want to build a relationship with people, and usually that vibe is usually going to be there in a way that they can trust. It's hard. Building trust with people just kind of happens organically. It just kind of happens naturally. It's not something that I'm necessarily like just flicking a switch on, trust me. But when they see now for a newer agent that doesn't have all the sales history, just know that trust happens when they can tell that you care about them. That's when it happens. Now, when they see that you have some sales and they see that you have you're competent, it might be a little easier for them to trust. If you pull up in a Tesla versus a 1987 Honda Civic, it might be easier for them to trust you. But the reason they're going to trust you is because they can tell that you care about them. And they, my clients, they could tell I care more about them than I care about a commission check. And that's what builds trust.
And then the little things, right, over time that just start to manifest and snowball, catching the things it wouldn't have caught
Right. You know,
for them to notice and kind of preparing, setting expectations appropriately.
right, right. When something comes up that's off, when something comes up wrong, when there's a big discrepancy over a septic system or a condominium assessment or something, when something's wrong and they're looking and they're watching us how we handle it, those are the moments where they can sense it. They can tell if you care about them or you care about that paycheck. They can tell the difference. So any agents that would try to hide that, they'll work just fine on a smooth transaction, but once things go off the rails a little bit, that's how you react is how they're going to be able to tell if you care about them more or you care about just getting this thing closed.
Yeah. And that's another reason why they need a professional like you because things can go off the rails.
Right.
There's a lot of unforeseen things that can pop up, title issues. You've seen a million of them,
Oh yeah.
but you're there. So when something does move in that direction, you can correct, keep experience going well, right?
That's right. That's right. And I do other things too. I love giving gifts. I think generosity is highly contagious. It opens up doors. And I love giving out gifts to people too, just random little small gifts. I have this really cool coffee mug I like to give people or unexpected extras. Another thing I do is just so people really know I care about them is I follow up with them after a closing. I also, there's definitely a lot of agents that have different business models and they'll dump a lot of their marketing money into like Zillow leads or, online leads or different sources. That money they spend, that $5,000-$10,000 a year, that I'm going to take that money and I'm going to spend it on my clients and I'm going to do a client party and we're going to have a lot of fun and I'm going to see faces I haven't seen in years. And, I just finished a client party just a few weeks ago. I'm fired up about. We had 150 people there, and wow. And the people that couldn't make it, I still delivered them a pie, a fresh baked, delicious pie supporting a local business. Everybody gets a pie, and some of my out of state people even. I jumped on Uber Eats and I ordered them a pie from their local establishment. So everybody got a pie this year. 100 and something pies went out, and that's just my way of showing gratitude. And people feel cared about because they are cared about, and I mean, don't get me wrong. There every now and then there's that one client that I didn't really enjoy working with. That may not get invited to my party, but but for the most part, I work with some amazing people, and I'm very blessed.
Most people are. You,
Yeah,
you always have one or two outliers, no matter what you.
yeah, yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about this business, Paul, is like some people work that 9 to 5, and when they get stuck working next to that person they don't really like, like Janice in accounting or whatever. I don't know that one person. They might be stuck working next to that person for the next 10 years. And that's, for our job, if I get that person, I'm only working with that person for a few months probably, and then it's over, so that's a beautiful thing, but it's very rare I ever get that bad energy from anybody. It's 99.9% of the transactions I have are with amazing people I'm so blessed to work with.
Well, I can tell. I mean, you're just you mentioned your energy. You're an easygoing, positive, upbeat, caring guy, good values. I mean, you're gonna make it easy to work with,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I'd
I
like
mean, you
to
really are.
Yeah, right. I've never had less than a 5-star review ever. I won't let that happen. Like, well, I'm going to make sure I find out what's going wrong if something's off. I'm not saying I've never made a mistake. I'm not saying I've never
Sure.
forgot to call someone back or I'm a human being, but I care so much that people know that. And when they know that, then it's impossible to get less than a 5-star review.
That's awesome. Hey, speaking of generosity, have you ever read the book Giftology?
I have, Paul. That's a
Yeah.
phenomenal book. That book
Yeah.
changed my perspective on my gift giving.
Yeah.
Such a good book, man. I know, and that book was written more for like not necessarily for like realtors giving out small time gifts like us, but some of the mindset in that book is so powerful. And I actually shifted one of my closing gifts to where I used to have my logo on it, and I stopped doing that because of that book. And yeah, so I love it.
That I forget the author's name off the top of my head, but was really eye-opening for me too. It's just a wonderful approach,
Yeah.
putting people first and really being thoughtful about them and not about us,
Right.
'cause no one
Right.
cares about us.
It's brilliant. That book was brilliantly written.
Yeah,
I still
yeah,
do branded gifts. Don't get me wrong, like the small little items, but anytime I see an opportunity now to not put my logo on it, but instead put their name on it, oh, I'm going to do
yeah,
it because
beautiful.
it's all about serving them. It's all about, going above and beyond for them and whatever has the most impact.
Right. All right. So for a little bit of fun, tell me about one of your most interesting or funniest transactions or events or something you ran into
Hmm.
on a real estate deal.
Hmm. Oh man.
Stuff.
I had to come back to this one. I'm trying to think of something that would be
Okay. I've had
interesting.
agents that have run into houses and come out with full keys and things like that.
I mean, I've been in some pretty nasty houses that are pretty bad distress where there's, you know, I'd still probably scarred from seeing. I don't even want to tell the visual of it because it was kind of
Right.
gross inside. I've seen some of those nasty ones. I've also seen some of the luxury homes. Yeah. I've seen some funny stuff when people try to flip houses. One time there was a half bath in the bed and they thought, well, let's turn this half bath into a full bath. So there wasn't enough room for that. So what they do is they took the closet, just a standard size normal closet, and they inserted a shower in there. So when we opened the closet to see what kind of closet space it had, it was a shower. Like, what did that come from? Like, no exhaust fan. It was just
Right.
so random. But yeah,
Yeah, and everyone's a flipping expert, right?
right,
You gotta love that. All you gotta do is watch a little HGTV. You're an expert. No
right.
doubt. Yeah. That always makes me laugh. Well, man, we're coming up on 30 minutes. It's kind of a hard cut. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Paul, it's been great talking with you. I really appreciate you having me on today.
No, this is great, Jeremy. Tell everyone how they can get in contact with you when they need a great real estate agent here.
Well, I mean, check out my website, jahometeam.com, jeremyallenhometeam.com. You can check out my website. Should I drop my phone number on here?
Yeah.
My phone number is the best way to reach me. Just text me or call me 757-749-1403. And I work very early in the morning and I work late into the evening, Monday through Saturday. I take every Sunday off though, Paul. I didn't work one Sunday last year.
Good for you. Which says a lot for real estate because you guys work on the weekends, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I didn't even know I could take Sundays off until one of my mentors told me. And I'm like, oh, and people really honor and respect that. I take that day off for faith and family, and people will remind me of it. Like, oh, tomorrow's your day off. I'll follow up on Monday. Perfect.
God's that's right. You need a day of rest. Well, need that for sure.
Yeah.